Mire, la auditoría independiente que publicó la ciudad de Brownsville esta semana, en donde explica a detalle qué ocurrió con el proyecto de Tanasca, ha generado la reacción del exalcalde de la ciudad de Brownsville.
Quien, por cierto, fue citado en diversas ocasiones para este proceso. Esta es una entrevista que solo verá aquí por Telemundo 40 y vamos contigo, Marta Alicia López. Hablaste con él y residentes, tienes detalles.
En este proyecto Tanasca Brownsville, la compañía de servicios públicos de Brownsville aumentó la tarifa de las facturas de sus clientes para poder llevar a cabo este proyecto, de acuerdo al documento, proyecto que nunca culminó.
No se hizo nada intencional para perjudicar al pueblo. Y la cosa es de que desafortunadamente no se llevó este proyecto a cabo y a este momento... Sí, y ya no estoy en esta posición, pero a este momento hay que ver cómo vamos a recuperar lo que se hizo, lo que no se hizo, para seguir adelante.
De acuerdo con el exalcalde Tony Martínez, asegura que todos los acuerdos se realizaron tanto con la mesa directiva del PUB, así como con los comisionados, señalando que la ciudad cumplió con todos los requisitos, mientras Tanasca también tenía requisitos. Martínez lo señaló.
Ahí está el otro, no encontraron nada que no, todo lo que se cobró, ahí está documentado, ¿ok? Y como te digo, me parte el corazón de que no se haya llevado a cabo, pero no fue por no querer o no tener la intención de hacer un beneficio para el público.
El exalcalde asegura que no es una buena idea reembolsar el porcentaje que se le quitó a cada cliente de la compañía de servicios públicos de Brownsville.
Ese dinero que está ahorita guardado, que son bastante dinero, en mi modo de pensar es como quien dice un ahorro para el futuro. No se me hace buena idea de sacar de los ahorros y regresar y de ahí en un tiempo en el futuro tener que cobrar otra vez otra cantidad.
Residentes aseguran que es necesario que se tome una medida más enérgica para que se reembolse el dinero del porcentaje que estaba destinado para este proyecto inconcluso.
Si nos prometieron una empresa de electricidad y nos cobraron extra por ello, entonces si no viene a realizarse la empresa como ellos ya sabían que nos iba a realizar, entonces lo correcto, lo justo es que regresen el dinero que le quitaron al pueblo.
De acuerdo con el abogado Edilucio, sí se puede llevar a cabo una demanda civil que sea colectiva para el reembolso del dinero de cada cliente.
La mejor opción era que la ciudad tomara un voto y entre ellos mismos decidieran regresar el dinero sin una demanda. Eso fue el proceso más simple y es lo que deben de hacer en lugar de una demanda. Una demanda se puede tardar años.
Hasta este momento solo el exalcalde ha querido hablar sobre esta auditoría, mientras que PUB le hemos solicitado en diversas ocasiones una entrevista y hasta ahora no nos ha respondido. Marta Alicia López, Noticias Telemundo.
Vote, vote, vote. Papi officially owns Twitter and Phillies in 6. And the story of self-enrichment, Martinez and Galonsky. It is Friday, October 28th, 7:20 a.m. My name is Frankie Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. The Brownsville Police Department invites the community out this evening, to Spooktacular Halloween Bash. It's going to take place today from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Brownsville Sports Park. Family fun event. Stop by if you can. I know the majority of my friends obviously won't. There's a big game today, and it is quite impressive how the Houston Astros, they've made the World Series 4 out of 6 times, 4 in 6 years, which is quite impressive. The Phillies will be having a tough matchup ahead. I have the Phillies in 6 games, but we should expect for this to be a back and forth game, back and forth series. Bryce Harper, he is living up to the phenom name that he was promised to be. Again, a 17-year-old is finally in the World Series, and we can't say much. We can talk all day about the Houston Astros, Bregman, Altuve, Alvarez, Verlander, and the list goes on. So today the World Series starts. I have the Phillies in 6. Now, we are in the midst of early voting. Friday, today, we have an opportunity to encourage friends and family to take part in this electoral process. It is very important for us to recognize the areas in which we're able to vote. We have the Cameron County Courthouse, the Public Library on Central and Southmost, the BISD Glass Palace, the Centro Cultural at Cameron Park, the New Horizons Clinic on Price, UTRGV, if you take Los Puentes Los Tomates, the old Burger King in the back, and the Bob Clark at the very bottom, the Bob Clark Service Center, which is on California Road. And again, it is important for us to monitor the numbers. We have the public library being one of the busiest locations. Obviously, the first 3 days was well above 1,000, and this past yesterday, Thursday, a little under 1,000. We see the next one in which have a large voter turnout is the BISD building, is getting some traffic. Southmost is also getting traffic with over 200. Yesterday there was a dip. Even UTRGV. So we are seeing, at least here in Brownsville, locally, New Horizons again over 100. We are seeing a good turnout. Cameron Park over 200. The Bob Clark, it is kind of retirado, but nonetheless, we have been seeing a steady turnout, not the likes of 2 years ago. But again, we got to continue to keep on advocating for the candidates in which we support. There is a big need and importance right now that we have going on at BISD. We see the low teacher morale and the lack of respect that they have shown employees. So we need individuals on that board that will restore the confidence and empower our teachers moving forward. At the county level, again, we continue to talk about those issues that are important to each and every one of us. And right now, the pinch that we're all feeling is the Tanasca Gate. At the county level, we did not have, and we still don't have anyone that has been asking questions, being vocal about this very issue. Judge Carlos Cascos has been adamant in saying that our current county judge had a conflict of interest. He was holding more than one hat and was benefiting from this. And again, for Congress, we need action. We need an individual who not only says what she's going to do, but actually does it and comes through for her community. So I encourage my friends and family to vote. If you need a ride, make sure you reach out. But you have until 7 today. I will post the hours, I think Saturday and Sunday as well. But we still have time. We still have time to vote. Make sure you go ahead and do so. Now, it is finally official. Papi Mus does own Twitter. The crazy thing is, obviously, is many people were expecting once he took over, he was going to clean house. And he did fire a lot of top executives, attorneys, individuals that will be receiving a handsome going a parting gift, a handsome parting gift based on their contract. Some make even 88,000 based on their termination. Elon Musk yesterday posted that he's freeing the bird. This was his analogy of saying, free speech, whatever you want, I'm here to let loose. We have seen how Twitter, other social media platforms, they have censored and blocked or suspended accounts that were anti-Semitic, homophobic, just ugly in nature, so to speak. But the interesting thing about this is that he will, according to Elon Musk, he will be freeing the bird. he will be reversing the lifetime bans. And the one that we could all think about is Papi Trump. Papi Trump, ever since the January 6th insurrection, Facebook and pretty much all social media platforms banned him from using their social media. Kanye West, as of late, has been in the news because of his anti-Semitic remarks. He did say, that he was in admiration in previous accounts of Adolf Hitler. Talks about the Jews recently, but others say that this was his way of being released from his contract. Him being an artist, being a creator, an entrepreneur, he wants more control, more ownership of his design, of his product. So that was his way. Of breaking that contract. But how do we feel about the world's richest man having a platform such as Twitter? We see, again, Jeff Bezos. He's got the Washington Post, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, and now the world's richest man, if not one of, has Twitter. Do you see the trend? Could it be that they are trying to control the narrative, control the masses? Again, are we influenced by what we see? Are we influenced by what we read? Are we influenced by what others talk about on social media? You and I can agree, able to have a platform and being behind that and having access to so much information is very, very valuable. Now, today we focused on a story that has been coming up of late. These names, powerful figures within the city of Brownsville, have been up for discussion. As we all know, the audit report regarding PUB did make some allegations, alluded to the fact that at one time, Mayor Tony Martinez knew that this project was not going to go into effect, and either he nor Brownsville PUB administrators did anything about it. It alludes to the fact that the people were still being charged an excessive amount, with them expecting for a project to be completed. And the focus of today's story is how two powerful figures within the history of Brownsville have used their positions for self-enrichment. In English folklore, the story of Robin Hood was one that he would steal from the rich to give to the poor. Unfortunately, I'm not here to tell you that story. On the contrary, I'm here to talk about figures within the city of Brownsville that steal from the poor to give to the rich. We have the story of Mayor Martinez. Who can forget when he first ran for public office? He, according to his resume, according to his background, everybody thought that we were going to get a professional, an attorney, a businessman, someone that wanted to use this position to establish a legacy, to write his history. One said, this individual has so much money and he's made so much money as an attorney, he has no reason to use the mayor position to benefit from it. So everybody thought, let's elect him. He's not about corruption. He's not going to benefit from this. But we have seen the total opposite. And one of the biggest question marks that we have regarding the dealings from our mayor has been the obvious case in point. La Casa de Nylon. This property is currently located right behind the new bus terminal. This at one point was appraised, according to the Cameron County records, at $600,000. This property belonged to Abraham Galonsky. Now, Galonsky owns or owned at one time several properties within downtown. These properties, as of late, have increased in value. A lot of action, a lot of traffic, a lot of attention has been brought upon downtown. This property in question was during the 2010 to 2012 era. But what this goes to show is that uh, the city of Brownsville, overpaid according to the records. Now, the purchase price for this property was $2.3 million for the casa de nylon. Now, again, we have no uh, we mean no ill will, and we don't want for the community to get the impression of, oh, we're not about growth, we're not about supporting business, we're not about supporting entrepreneurs and transactions. On the contrary, we feel as if the city or any business out there could, hit it big, uh, benefit from it, of course. But the issue here at hand is uh, the appraised value. The city of Brownsville paid over 3 times worth that amount. And the connection is Tony Martinez and Abraham Galonsky. Now, again, the way to make money in this life, in this world, is through real estate. And we all know, whenever somebody has a portfolio, you always have to spread your money. How they say, don't put your eggs all in one basket. That's what they say. You got to have stocks, you got to have bonds, you got to have CDs. That's outdated. But one of the main ones is real estate. You need to have properties besides business, restaurants, et cetera, et cetera. Property is where the money's at. This property for $600,000 at one point was sold for $2.3 million. Abraham Galonsky sold it to the city of Brownsville while the mayor, while Tony Martinez was mayor. Now, another property in question just happened to be right next to Tony Martinez's building at one time. This issue in question goes to a delinquent property that the city commission, and the way it works is very quickly. The way it works is people, whenever they're not able to pay for their taxes, they obviously foreclose on the property, and the ownership becomes the entity, whether that be City of Brownsville, BISD, Cameron County. And what happens is that these properties are sold at an auction. The way it works is the highest bid that they get for that property is the bid that they'll present to the city commission and say, look, this property is valued at X dollars. This is the highest bid we got. Do you accept it or not? Yay or nay? It's like that. Well, this property in question was adjacent next to Mayor Tony Martinez's building. Now, he took part in the executive's discussion in executive session regarding these properties. And there was an issue at hand that Commissioner Ricardo Longoria, he moved to proceed to advise by legal counsel to executive session. And this was forwarded by Rose Gowen. What I'm going at is that there was people that were questioning. Here we have the mayor bidding on a property, which you could say, okay, he's a businessman. Okay, the property was valued at $13,000, and he was the only one miraculously that made a bid for $5,000. Okay, he made a bid. Well, he's taking part in executive session, which is a big no-no. If you either are going to benefit from something, a certain agenda item, well, you can't take part of that discussion. That's the norm. Well, he took part in the executive session, and he ultimately voted to award himself and the list of other others that made other offers on other properties. He approved. He approved of the sale. So land property has been something that Mayor Martinez, along with Galonsky, have been very good at and have been using the city of Brownsville for. Now, the biggest one of them all, the biggest scheme of them all has been PUB. And again, referring to the audit report, the audit report is very telling. Did somehow Mayor Martinez benefit from this Tanasca gate? And the interesting thing from this is that he did. Again, we goes to show how the individuals on his campaign finance report are ones that are receiving these contracts. Here we have from 2019, Davidson, Trollo, Ream, and Garza. They donated $5,000 to Mayor Martinez. Again, that was Davidson, Trollo, Ream. And the very first one is Davidson, Trollo, Ream. They were awarded $6.6 million. Now, again, did he benefit from this? Was it in his best interest to say, let's milk this dry and we'll figure things out? We started off today's show with a segment from Telemundo, where they have been the only ones that have been given access to an interview with Mayor Martinez. And if you heard the show, and if you don't remember, go back to it, please. It says that he doesn't want the money to be returned back to the citizens of Brownsville. He says that it hurts his heart, but it's unfortunate that this project didn't go through. Again, did Mayor Martinez benefit from it? Well, the individuals on the vendor payments for PUB that were awarded $4.6 million gave him $5,000. Gave him $5,000 in donation. Again, we're talking about PUB here again, because that is a very important issue in which we're all dealing with. Nudith Galonsky. Again, the name Galonsky and Martinez, we hear them coming up in very important issues regarding Brownsville and very important issues that affect us here. They keep us poor. They are taking resources away from us. Nudith Galonsky here was either a either president, a chairwoman for PUB at one point, and the mayor, as the city charter reads, the mayor does have a seat on the PUB board. But what is interesting to note is that during this time, ladies and gentlemen, during this time when they were talking to us and they were saying that yes, this is going to go through, take a look at the salaries for Bruzniak. And Bruzniak, again, according to the audit report, it is a name that comes up a lot. And in emails, it is stated that he used the lingo of greasing these politicians. Well, take a look at this. In 2013, the salary for Bruzniak, the CEO and manager, the GM, he was making $184 in 2013. 3 years later, look at that skyrocket. In 3 years, he went from 184 to 235 in 2016. Now, in 2016, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Galonsky on the PUB board. We have a Martinez on the PUB board. Are you following me? Check this out. 184. 2013, you're making 184. In 3 years, they went to 235. Now I ask you, in your job that you've been in for 10 years, 5 years, 7 years, have you ever received that much raise in 3 years? Now take a look at this. Again, 184, 235. Now you ready? Boom, papa. From 1 year in 2016 to 2017, he got a $60,000 raise. And during this time, ladies and gentlemen, is when in 2017, this statement, these salaries in 2017 was when they finally knew that this was not going to go through. The top executives, Mayor Martinez, knew this is not going to go through. Again, we have a Mayor Martinez, we have a Galonsky that all we hear about is them either benefiting from the city of Brownsville, some form or fashion. If it's not land, to the Casa de Nylon, it's PUB. But then we have a Galonsky. We have a Galonsky that runs for public office. And again, the interesting thing about this is that we have an individual who spent $100,000 on this race. And again, these city positions pay absolutely $0. And what we saw from this Galonsky shortly thereafter was that her father, the same Abraham Galonsky, again, we keep on hearing the same players and same names over and over again. Well, her father, the one that sold the property 3 times the value to the city of Brownsville, was now part of the Planning and Zoning Committee. Now, I may not be a very smart man, but that's kind of like saying, you're putting me in the lion's den. You're uh, you're doing something that's not right. Again, why would an individual who already had questionable dealings with the city, be allowed to sit in one of the most important, one of the most lucrative positions, committees within the city? And you may ask, well, what's so big about this? Again, whenever someone is in planning and zoning, they know regulations, they know the procedures, but more importantly, they know what properties, what businesses are going to be establishing or looking at land. So what do? Hey, I'm gonna go by here because Exxon is coming, because McCoy's is coming, because they have all that inside information. So here we have an individual in question who had some dealings with the city, and then his daughter runs $100,000 campaign. This position pays 0. She wins. What's the first thing that happens? Her dad, well, not the first thing, but you get my thing. Her dad, her father, is on the planning and zoning. That's rice in the pudding, baby. Ese es su mero mole. That's like putting a lion in a zebra den. Hombre, papá, se va a saciar. But again, we have the name Galonsky and Martinez coming up a lot. We saw that the one who nominated Sandra Sines, who has now come up in question regarding her loyalties, either is it to the citizens of Brownsville or to Mayor Martinez. Well, we see here in this on the tube that Commissioner Galonsky was the one that either nominated or reappointed or renominated Sandra Sines, the individual in question. And who can forget how Sines has this connection to the mayor, Mayor Tony Martinez? Again, of course, we see here how a property in question was transferred, was deeded over to the Sciences from Mayor Martinez. Again, we see over and over again that these names, Galonsky and Martinez, have been one for self-enrichment, for self dealings. One would think, isn't it enough? How much do we need? Now, you and I can agree that all we want is an opportunity, right? But if these individuals, if these same names, same players keep on eating our lunch, they're buying the properties at a discounted rate. Nobody's saying anything about it. They're using their employees to remain in important positions that are affecting the livelihoods of you and I. They're using their positions to buy property, to buy land. They're screwing us over with PUB. They're benefiting from it. Their vendors are giving them donations. You see the cycle here? How it's always them. They're benefiting from it. They're enriching themselves. They're getting fat, while you and I are getting loans, while we're struggling. Small business owners, hey, we're trying to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. That's the problem that we have in the city of Brownsville. And it keeps on happening over and over and over again. If it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, it must be a rat. it is important for us to recognize what we have dealing here with in the city of Brownsville. We have individuals that for year in and year out, administration through administrations, they have screwed over one of the poorest people in all the nation, one of the least educated people in all the nation. I ask my community, we have so much power with our vote. It is time for us to elect individuals that will adhere to our needs. We have individuals such as the likes of Tony Martinez, North Galonsky, father and daughter, that have used the city of Brownsville as their own bank account, that have used Brownsville for their own enrichment. The story of Martinez and Galonsky has been scheming from the city of Brownsville. It is up to us to elect individuals that are going to get us away from corruption. And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. The Houston Astros will play the Philadelphia Phillies in the World Series. Impressive again. Astros, this is their fourth trip in 6 years, that's a dynasty. But again, the trash can issue always comes up. I have Phillies. I have Phillies in in 6. Papi Musk officially buys Twitter. Will he make a headquarters in Brownsville? I forgot to talk about that in the segment. Will he make a headquarters here in Brownsville? Imagine that. He's got a Tesla store. I don't think he's got a Starlink store. Does he have a Starlink store at the airport? Imagine if a Twitter store opens up in Brownsville. I think that'd be cool. I never thought of that. I just thought about that right now. A Twitter store here in Brownsville. One thing about Twitter, he's gonna take it private. He's gonna try and monetize off of it. Obviously, that's the right thing to do. Vote, vote, vote. Today, you have until 7 p.m. I will be out in the polls a little bit in the afternoon. Gotta work early. But again, take part in the electoral process. Encourage friends and family to go out to vote as much as possible. We need people to go out and vote. Martinez and Galonsky, a story of self-enrichment. This family and these names we've heard these past 2 decades, and all we hear is of them benefiting from it, while we the people are left struggling. I encourage each and every one of you to ask yourself the important question: do I have faith in my local leadership? Are we on the right path towards job growth, towards providing resources? If you are questionable about that, we need change. Do not elect any incumbent in any board throughout all the city of Brownsville, because what I'm working on right now, and people always ask me, what are you working on? What are you working on? I'm going to connect how all this is tied together. This is a big web, ladies and gentlemen. Why do you think people are fighting for their friends in certain positions? Because they want the gravy train to continue. For this past election, I voted all red, with the exception of the Attorney General. I voted for Rochelle Garza from Brownsville, and for Railroad Commissioner, I voted Jaime Diaz from Brownsville. The Democrats, guys, I hate to say this, the Democrats have kept us poor, have kept us dumb, while they themselves get rich. I want to change that. I want people to come in that will listen to the people. I don't care if I have to call myself a Republican, a Libertarian, an American, a Mexican, whatever it takes. It's time to put the power back into the people. That is the only way we are going to have a better quality of life for many years to come. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Hope to see you guys here on Monday. Go out and vote. Good morning, Congresswoman. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. We'll be out there holding up your signs and encouraging our friends, reminding our friends to go out and vote. Thank you so much for your time. Hope to see you soon. Good luck with this race, ma'am. Thank you for your time. Red wave. Ow. Get all the garbage out. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Stop by. If you see me out at the public library, honk if you're happy.